Well, you know what I mean? For us to be healthy enough to be smoking that cigarettes and stuff for, like dietary reasons, you got to be healthy enough to process what you got coming into your mouth. You know what I mean? Of this nutrition value. A man sucking dick. Nah, a woman sucking dick is the value of cigarette smoke, yeah. Us men, no. Hell no. Man, I ain't no faggot. Man, I can't die. The value that you have, that you think that I should have, I'm never going to have. And the value that you have, that you want me to have, you are preposterous to think that other males automatically or with hypnosis, effort, that is going to stick and stand in the test of time. Okay? You never seen a man cry until you see that man die. As I created life, I looked around and I knew that I wanted a life with a wife. I never gave a second to give the divisible aspect that of you telling yourself you are more than me at any time that you could say it or sing it or document it in poetry like a rhyme. The factors of it to be is something that will always last in history. So when you come up to me, the diameters of when you hold eye contact, let it be a factor of comfort of the subtleness of what it was and the socialness of the political science of that was a factor that you never will understand, that I knew that it took for you to understand, that you will never understand why, that I knew why I allowed that man to cry. Okay? Yeah, there's a factor of life that we don't go through paralysis and you can ingest the smoke like I just did. You see how naturally I did it? But I'm unhealthy because I don't have the purple corn or the blue corn. I truly apologize to you again for calling it purple corn. Okay. Spanish is where I worked on it a lot. It's just as fluent. It's not as fluent as English, but it's almost as fluent as Chinese. Chinese is as fluent as English, but not as fluent as English. Okay? It was English, completed. In Chinese, I thought was completed. It was depleted, and I had to go back. Because if you see English, the factors of being schizophrenic. Schizophrenia, that means that you wake up in the morning trying to ask yourself if life is worth living, or should I ask myself, should I grab a gun and kill everybody around me because they chose on that day to find me in an aspect that I was at a divisible concept that you thought was a social buzz, but you never understand why. That you never understood my schizophrenia until you was there on the day that you had the choice to say that you know that you remember of the day you died. See, a schizophrenic, he want to kill, rob, steal when he wake up in the morning. All right? That's why, when I said I was schizophrenic to Mark, I said that, and he called me, and then I was in Tonica. And I ended up saying schizophrenic. It ended up working out for me. As if, something that was a natural factor that could defend me. So I never understood the factor of me creating life, that I was always in a constant rapture of the self-defense of me creating life. If I have 3 or 4 or maybe 6 or 7 or one wife, and never took the time to understand the reason why, because I knew, because I created life, so I never let myself cry. Now, the divisible concept of the buzz of me on the social distance of the love. The fact that you would understand that you could say that, ooh, he's a loving, compassionate man. I created the factor of the females in my life cosmically, they are linked to me. That's what was. When you had that child in the world, is she a girl? When she come in the world, her first breath, ooh, she in swirl. That the man that created life is a factor that she could have in her life, that she could say he is his wife. But the diamonds of her ignorance to be, she don't know what it is, but you got to let her see so you can be. The diameter of my life to be in the mirror image of me creating life. So if you don't understand why, you'll understand now the reason why she cried. Now don't get it misunderstood. It's not a factor of what you think, like in Hollywood or the pornography industry, so you can see a diameter that you can think that is over a level that beside you, gentlemen. So you need to see the factor that your child is of a factor that is a simplicity that of my love to myself that I gave myself years ago. It was 6 trillion years. Now you know that your daughter and your wife will always be a remarkable check mark artistically in my life of a passionate, constant buzz of a factor that I always will give that love to give myself the discretion process to be more less than fat, and I'll make it history. See, years ago when I was YC, I gave my life to wrestling history. There's nobody ever marked that path because I gave it everything I had. Never did it before, white or yellow or any other color. Now you have another truth, and now you be the biosymmetric of history. It's never gonna sink in. Why? Don't give the remarkable recordings of why you have to ask yourself why. All right, you're in the same time zone, timeline, and I've been different colors. They've been trying to get me to live my life like no other, as if I was YC, your call, and now you see of me using the music from the group Y and T. Now, when you understand on the lonely side of town, song 10 was my song that I came out, and the crowd always had a smile. The diameters of me driving from here down to the wrestling arena. Now listen here. I wrestled there 12 years. And then you know that it was after I was 47. Now you got tears. I was 48 and I was wrestling G when I started. Now get away from me. It was after the factor of the Blues Fest in October, yo. And I was 48, 3 months. Now you know that is out of control of the factors of remarkableness that's recorded in documentation in written literature for us to understand that the factors can be rid of the concept that you understand of why people live their life and choose to let themselves die. So after I was Hercules, day 3, you know that I will never beg and please. It was your call to make that choice. But 12 years, man, it was an antidote of a factor of my life that what it was. Yeah, I did some unorthodox stuff. Now it was a factor that you now see of what I did with magic to get myself to where I was to be. The diameter in history of a factor that you understand that never was beside me. I never gave it all my all because I never gave myself that sudden call to the factors of the storyline. And wrestling is always sinking in the mind of the fans and the followers of the audience of the factors that they choose to give into. The factor that I chose to be, a factor that they know that was something in history. So when I got up and I got in and I got out, I never made a choice to scream and shout. That I was treated in sacrilegious mentality, but you know that it was always simple reality. The factors of me resting in the ring, the factors of the community it was something to sing. The diameters of my promoter and to the last guy, I never took the time to make nobody cry. A song to give them something to sing along. That WWF was not going along with the factors of what they did for me, G. I went back to my hometown. Now you see, I drove 2 hours when I needed to go to work. It was always one time a week. Now at twerk. Recreation, yeah, it's fortified, but to survive on your life, they had to hide the factors of it. Now they understand, that the factors that had to understand the growth, that the factor dubbed in the time that it was your choice to lay the rhyme to try to mock me. And then you did something that was funk dubious, and now it is instant, spontaneously gone away. That beginning of where I was at YC, now I stay. Of a factor that I'll never cross ever again, because in the wrestling arena, you make more than a friend. You wrestling and you out wrestling a person, G, but you never injured them. And now the world will see the concept of the factors that it was. You lullaby wrestle me, and that's the buzz. I don't say the exact reason that it was. You comforted me, and then it gave me that wrestling love of a factor that I knew somebody could go all out and hit me with every move and scream and shout. And then the whole time when I stood up, he knew what was up, and that gave me that cup of a factor that you could say I could drink in, that I could share with a evil, common friend. Because I'm in the wrestling world and I never understood why a battle royal never made a fan cry. I'm gonna cut this off, y'all. Get at me, G. Oh, oh!